In the Constant, nothing is ever truly safe. From sanity-shattering abominations to creatures trapped in a very special version of hell. Today, we're counting down the top 10 creepiest creatures in Don't Starve. We're going to attempt to pinpoint exactly what makes them so unsettling. Whether it's their design, behavior, or just the raw existential dread that they may cause. Let's begin. Number 10. Terrorbeaks. Now, the reason these guys are so low on this list are that once you've played the game for longer than, say, 20 hours, you'll most likely run into so many of these guys that you'll become desensitized. However, there's no mistaking how downright creepy they are. They are fast, they move so weirdly, and more importantly, they're almost always accompanied by insanity, which has its own creep factor thanks to the ambience, but mostly in single player Don't Starve. Don't Starve Together has the same ambience, but it's dialed down to about like 10 times quieter. Here, take a listen. Number 9. Thunderbirds. A Hamlet exclusive enemy, these guys won't give you as much trouble as Terrorbeaks, however, they're just downright unsettling. They'll stare at you, moving their heads 360 degrees like an owl, which is what they're resembled off of. But if you remember a certain mod, these guys also share a striking resemblance to the Screecher. And I don't think I need to explain how that could be very creepy. Hopefully you're scooping up what I'm squeezing out here. Unfortunately, because this creature lives in the lore vacuum that is Don't Starve single player, we don't have much official lore on it, but oh well, even Weber says it's creepy, so there you go. Number 8. The Bloomfin Tuna. Now, I'll admit, this isn't a quote-unquote creature, but it still is a living creature within the lore and will thus be added to this list. The Bloomfin Tuna is by far the creepiest fish I have ever laid my eyes on. A large, parasitic-looking bulb growing out of its forehead, and cold, dead, beady eyes. If I fished this thing up, I would seriously worry that I just infected myself with some type of strange fungus, like that one from the One Vault in Fallout New Vegas. Sure, it's probably just a plant creature, much like the care rats and whatnot, but normally you don't fish plants out of the ocean. It's just weird and kinda yucky. But there's of course a reason it's so high on this list. It's really not that bad. It's got the creep factor. Number 7. The Ancient Herald. Another Hamlet exclusive creature. The Ancient Herald won't appear under normal circumstances. Instead, he lurks and waits until the time is right. The sun will never rise again. A blood color eclipse swishes over the land. Pigs hide inside. Everything just gets evil and you can hear it. Before you know it, it arrives. The Ancient Herald. Now what makes this creature scary and creepy is that we know it to be one of the ancients of the Constant. But why it chooses to terrorize the land of Hamlet rather than the mainland Constant is beyond me. Unfortunately, this beast is kind of a pushover, and all you have to do is tank it. But look, it's connected to one of the creepiest events in the game, and it has deep lore impacts, so I think it deserves to at least be on this list. Number 6. This plastic rat I found at the store. Wait, no. Number 6. Beard Lords. Now, in Don't Starve Together, these guys aren't that scary, as they're quite literally just reskinned bunny men due to multiplayer constraints. But back in the OG version of Don't Starve, well, take a listen. A horrifying new attack noise, demonic breathing, and they attack so much faster. Look, I'm not vegan, but if one of these things showed up on my doorstep, you could bet I'm throwing all of my meat products out of my house immediately. I guess you could say they are more scary than they are creepy, but I'm still adding them. No, it's totally not because I want to flaunt around an OG Don't Starve W. Why would I want to go and do something like that, man? Come on, man. Number 5. Wavy Jones. Before I talk about this guy, let me just show you what an encounter with this creature looks like. And that's Wavy Jones. He appears from the depths and messes with your boat. Honestly, Wavy Jones is exactly what I wanted in a sanity creature. Instead of being a foe that you physically fight like the others, Wavy Jones actually messes with you. Lowering sails, raising sails, extinguishing fires, unplugging holes, stealing your boat, his whole job is just to mess with you relentlessly. Like a good sanity mechanic. All of this combined with the eerie noises he makes solidifies him this high spot on the list. We won't be leaving the ocean for the next entry though. Number 4, Cookie Cutters. I don't think I have to explain this one too much. Just look at these horrifying things. They play on all types of phobias. They have a parasite lice-looking body and probably the most haunting face in the entire franchise, besides a certain other creature we'll go over soon. And the way they just lurk there with only their creepy little faces above the water is just ugh. Seriously, go sailing at night and accidentally run up to the salt biome. Seeing these things slowly swarm towards your boat is almost certain to give you chills. Number 3, Gestalts. Take a trip to the lunar island and you'll quickly become acquainted with these little things. At first, they don't seem all that bad. They simply make you a little sleepy and give you free sanity. A lot better than the alternative on the mainland. So you would be forgiven for assuming that these guys are super chill. But stay long enough to have a hound attack, and this will happen. Yeah, really makes you wonder just what those Gestalts are trying to do to you when they attempt to possess you. Well, it's not exactly a secret. Thankfully, Gestalts aren't capable of infecting recently deceased survivors yet, but the idea of them just worming their way into your soul and attempting so hard to take over your body that your survivor literally gets tired out is really unsettling. Number 2, the Shadow Knight. Now for this entry, I'm including all 3 tiers of the Shadow Knight, Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Each one of these is equally as creepy. However, for the purpose of this ranking, I'm gonna focus on Tier 1 because I personally think that Tier 2 and 3 seem to be trying a little too hard to be creepy. But Tier 1 absolutely masters the art of being creepy. It has the perfect amount of humanoid features to cause you to have Uncanny Valley. If you don't know what that means, well, it's that feeling of dread that you feel when you see something that looks human, but isn't. A big example of this is mannequins. But that's not all. This thing is fast, and it makes some of the creepiest mob noises in the game. Oh man, despite those creepy noises, I definitely think the appearance is carrying here. I mean seriously, imagine waking up and seeing this peering through your door. Out of almost all of the creatures on this list, this guy is almost certainly the scariest. Except, there is one more. But before I reveal what that is, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed and left a like on this video. It's free, and it helps me out a ton. Alright, on to the final entry. Number 1, Heralds of Tenebrew. Better known as Void Masks, Heralds of Tenebrew are everything that Gestalts should have been, as they dial the creep factor up by at least 10-fold. On their own, they float harmlessly and will actually flee from the player, but once they've found a host, everything changes. Creatures enthralled by the Heralds of Tenebrew will show camaraderie towards other infected, and their only goal will be to defeat and spread the infection. And yes, unlike Gestalts, this includes you. Now, man, I don't know about you, but that's pretty creepy. But that's not all that makes this creature deserving of the first place spot. Possessed creatures will even attempt to talk to you, saying things to demoralize you and attempt to get you to join them. And the other thing is that, look at this thing. You see those giant tendrils? Once on a corpse, those things completely disappear. So my guess is that this thing is burrowing those tendrils into the dead creature's face holes. And that's just super gross and creepy. It's a lot like a head crab, and we all already know how freaky those things are. Ugh. I'm realizing I just really don't like parasites. Before we end this short little fun Halloween list, let's go over a few honorable mentions. The stagehand is a great honorable mention, which is amazing at jump scaring new players. You know, like this. Yeah. If you don't know how this thing works, it wakes up at night and tries to follow the closest player-made light source. It loses its novelty quickly though, as while it's still somewhat creepy, I don't think it really deserves to be on this list, since it's more of a cheap, quick scare. The next honorable mention is the Shattered Spider Den. Now, you may be wondering, how is a den creepy? And how the hell is it a creature? Look closely there. See those outcroppings and how they twitch? My friends, this isn't just a den. This is a lunar mutated spider queen. Now, I think that fate is horrific alone. It's cemented to the ground, forced to just endlessly produce shattered spiders until some survivor comes along and puts it out of their misery. It's rough, but not technically a creature, so that's why it didn't get on this list. And with that, there you go. Nice, simple, and a short video to kickstart October, or whatever month you happen to be watching this in. Look, there's never a reason to not get spooky. Alright, that's everything I had to say, so I'll see you all in the next one. Polarlotus, out.